I attend the Eurogroup meetings every month in Brussels, and what is happening in many ways, the war in Ukraine, the change of American administration, I would say is even more than a wake-up call. So we have to get our act together. There's a lot of things that we know we have to do. The Draghi report tells us what you have to do in the banking union, and the Letta report tells us what you have to do in the savings and the investments union. So we know our homework, and I think we will be more committed to achieve what has to be done in a fast manner.
Europe knows what to do. There have been numerous reports, as you say, but now it really has been kicked into action. Do you get the sense that the political willingness and the urgency of it is greater than ever before?
It is certainly greater. There's also some realization that if we do not help ourselves, and the rest of the world is not going to help us. We are very worried about less drive for multilateralism, to say the least. In fact, it's a fragmentation of the geopolitical world and the economic and financial setups that we have known since World War II. Europe is the super champion of international cooperation. So this is being questioned. I must say that hearing Secretary of the Treasury yesterday say that the United States is going to remain engaged in the IMF and the World Bank is reassuring, and that's what we were hoping to hear, but there's going to be changes, but it's not a departure from it. So in a time where we have so many geopolitical conflicts and wars around the world, we need international cooperation. So Europe is very eager to pursue that.
Mm-hmm. Now, you've also in the past said Europe needs more strategic autonomy, and that could also, of course, come through the form of a digital euro. Why is that needed more than ever before?
Well, I think there's been an evolution in the last couple of months in the position of the United States that is more favorable to either cryptocurrencies or stable coins. So a lot is going to happen in that area. Today, cryptocurrencies represent less than 2%, so you can treat it with benign neglect, as central banks used to say. But we as ESM fully support the drive of Christine Lagarde and the European Central Bank to have a digital euro that is backed by the central bank, which gives the confidence that we need. And if these initiatives pushing currencies, digital currencies coming from the private sector would become more prevalent, obviously it could have an impact on our European sovereignty in terms of currency, and would also impact financial policies as we know them.
Can I ask you about the role of the ESM? Obviously, it was created in the aftermath of the Eurozone debt crisis, a very powerful tool. You're essentially the lender of last resort. What role will it now play based on the Bruegel report in the European defense mechanism? And there are certain challenges to that. The likes of Germany and the Netherlands said, you need to stick to your original purpose.
Well, we always stick to our original purpose, which is to be ready to support and assist countries when there is risks of financial instability. And financial instability can also be contagious. So we will always stick to our mandate. In the pandemic, a special instrument was set up. It was not used, but it was set up because we were all afraid in Europe that with the lockdown, we could have financial instability. Now, in terms of defense, a lot of countries have to invest a lot more in defense, and they do not have the fiscal space to do it. So the first thing is that countries know that if they were to get in trouble, the ESM is there. So that's the first role we have, our mere existence. But both the Letta report and the European Commission have mentioned the ESM as a potential player in this issue. So the Letta report suggests a precautionary loan, as we did in the pandemic, and the European Commission in its SAFE program of 150 billion euros says that if this would not be enough for defense purposes, the ESM could come in, which is exactly the role we have, come in as lender of last resort.
Can I ask you, as you're engaging in talks over the next couple of days, what is your message to the American colleagues?
I think the main message is we need international cooperation, and tariff war is bad for growth and very bad for inflation. We have seen it after the announcements of President Trump on the 2nd of April, and we have seen the relief when the announcement came that there would be a pause for negotiation. I would like to commend the European Union Commission for being very measured and proportionate in its response, trying not to escalate the situation. What we need is a dialogue and find concrete solutions, but having a trade war is detrimental to all, and it has hit the United States growth more as we see with the IMF forecast, than it has even hit Europe, as the forecasts have been revised down due to these uncertainties on the one hand, and the risks that trade slowdown are putting on the world economy.